Serpa, your friendly neighborhood machine gunner, laying down cover fire so that you can move. And I'm right here with Amy Serpa, who is an Iraq combat veteran, Air Force veteran, and licensed realtor, and with my co-host, Toby Love, who is an 8-year Navy veteran.
Yep.
She's been lending for 18 years, and we're here to answer all of your questions about the VA home loan so that you can get it all figured out. And today, specifically what we're covering is the cost of going VA.
Yes.
Some things are changing in 2020.
That's right.
Toby was just informing me about all of the things that are happening with the VA funding fee, what the actual cost of going VA is going to be in the future. And so we're going to jump right into that. First and foremost, good morning, Toby Love.
Good morning, David, and good morning, Amy.
Good morning.
Miss Love. Good morning, David.
Okay, and good morning, of course, to you out there, our fellow veterans. This show, of course, is by veterans, for veterans. But if you are a nasty civilian, it is okay for you to tune in. We won't block you from the show. This is all about real information, because the truth is there's a lot of people out there, a lot of companies out there that are preying on veterans, that are benefiting financially off of the hard work of veterans and are taking advantage of them. And so just because somebody's military relocation certified, just because somebody is giving a massive discount back from their commission, does not mean that they are the right ones to help you out.
And they don't have your best interests at heart all the time.
That's right. If you are getting a discount, prepare to get discounted.
That's right.
The cost of going VA. So here we go. We're going to jump right in. The first thing that I want to do is I want to give a shout out to Parker County Gold Star families and to Weatherford College out there in Weatherford. Parker County, the moms and dads of these fallen soldiers, the spouses of these fallen Marines, etc., corpsmen, they've done right out there by their families out there in Parker County. They got Parker County Gold Star Memorial up and running. And a huge shout out to all of them out there, and to Weatherford College, who I believe is doing right by the military veteran by continuing to support those that have served. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. This is the cost of going VA. One of the first things that you're going to need to have if you want to use your VA loan is an earnest money deposit. Now, there is a lot of debate about what the cost of an earnest money deposit should be. For VA, it's a little bit different. For a lot of conventional loans, they want to see that 1% down. For VA, that's not the case. If you're at that $400,000 buying point, they like to see $1,500 to $2,000. But I've actually won multiple offers for my veteran clients with a $500 earnest money deposit and a fantastic cover letter. So don't let the fact that you don't have $1,500 to $2,000 in your pocket stop you from buying a home. That's just part of it. We're going to cover the bare minimum cost too, but that's what you need, $500 to $2,000 for your earnest money deposit. The next thing that we're going to cover is the VA loan program is truly a no down program. That is no money out of pocket if you do it right, minus the earnest money deposit and the inspection, which we're going to get to later. But and the VA jumbo program is actually going away. Is that right, Ms. Toby Love?
Yes, it is. January 1st, 2020. We're not going to have the VA jumbo program anymore.
No more VA jumbo, but with that, no more VA loan limits.
Yep.
Which means that if you can qualify for more house, you can qualify for more house, no money down. It's not going to be what it was before. This program has now changed. You used to have to put 25% down for everything over the VA limits, or 20% down. Now, that's not the case. So VA loan limits are now no longer, which just makes sense. Another thing that you will have to, someone will have to pay for is the termite. Now, this is typically a seller cost. The VA will not lend, a bank will not lend on a house that has active Section 1 termite damage. That's active termites, that's dry rot or exposed or damaged wood, or that's damaged or missing paint.
Yep.
And so sometimes it could be as simple as slapping some paint on there and moving on, but that costs about $75. Sellers pay that. And if there's more fees, the sellers typically pay that as well. If you're being asked as a veteran to pay for termite cost on a house that you do not live in, you might need to fire your agent. You might need to reconsider. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is closing cost.
Yes.
Now, closing costs are about 2% of the cost of the home. Sometimes it can be 2.5% depending on your credit or extenuating circumstances, but prepare for about 2%. Someone has to pay that. That doesn't mean that it's you. So you're not going to have to come out with $8,000 out of pocket if you were looking at that $400,000 price point. But what will need to happen is someone will need to pay it. And there are a couple of different options, and here they are. One is to have the seller pay the closing cost. A lot of times this is easier in a buyer's market where you just say, hey, we have $8,000 in closing costs that we want you to pay. Here's our offer. Now we want you to pay that. The second option is what is called lender paid closing cost. And this is pretty common, especially in a seller's market when you need to keep your offer enticing. Now, when you're working with a lender that knows what they're doing and works with a lot of clients and has the freedom and capability to do so, the lender paid closing cost is not the lender just saying, hey, here's $8,000 out of the goodness of my heart, or here's $5,000. What they're doing is they're saying, we could pay a portion of, maybe all of your closing costs, but then we will roll that into your rate. Now, VA and FHA rates are very low. They're typically below conventional, almost always below conventional. And so rolling that into your rate makes it so that instead of maybe locking in at a, where are VA rates right now?
Oh gosh, like right around 3 1/4.
3 1/4, which is so low. So instead of locking in at 3 1/4, maybe you're locking in at 3.75. Maybe you're locking in at 4. Okay, and then so that's and then the third option with paying closing costs. So you get seller paid, lender paid, and then the last option is writing the closing cost. So let's say a house is priced at $430,000. If the price is $430,000 and you know that you need about $8,000 in closing cost, you write the offer at $438,000 and then ask for the seller to pay it. And that's kind of a way around it that keeps your offer enticing. And then, of course, all you need to do is think about that appraisal, which gets to our next cost.
Yes.
Another benefit to working with Miss Toby Love and in Cross Country Mortgage is that they actually pay for your appraisal out of pocket. The cost of the appraisal is about $450. Now, a lot of veterans get out there and they work with the lender who doesn't pay for the VA appraisal, and they get into a situation where they are now needing that money to come back to them. They fall out of escrow, and then they're forced to eat it. That $1,000 earnest money deposit is coming back to them at $550. And all of a sudden they're missing some money and they're like, oh my gosh, now I'm out. I'm done. So if you're working with a great lender, and Semper Fidelis to Jeff Hansen, who works with the Toby Love team, he says, hey, brother, doing a great job. Thank you very much. Jeff is a fellow Marine Corps veteran. He works with Toby Love right here at the Cross Country Mortgage office. Yeah, $450. If you're doing a good job, if you're working with a great lender, that's not something that you necessarily have to worry about. So don't worry about it. Okay, next is the VA funding fee.
Yes.
Okay, the VA funding fee is going up in 2020.
Yes, it is.
This is not an out-of-pocket expense, but this is money that is going to be paid in your loan. Toby Love, can you tell them about the VA funding fee?
Yes, absolutely. So the VA funding fee is not anything new. It's always been there. And the VA funding fee is how the VA funds that reserve to make sure that all of us as active duty and veterans have the zero down option. Now, the funding fee is going up from 2.15 for first time use. So that means you've never used your VA loan before. It's 2.15% to 2.3 in 2020. And then if you're using it for a second or third or fourth or however many times, your 10th time using it, you're going to pay a subsequent use fee, which is going to go up from 3.3 to 3.6. Now, what does that look like on a $400,000 loan? So on $400,000 is if your first time use at the 2.3 rate, it's roughly about $9,200. Now, $9,200 is about $50 a month in payment. Again, when we sit down, when we go over everything, we're already including that in there. And if you're using it as a subsequent use, that's roughly about $14,400 also rolled into the loan amount. And that affects your payment by about $75 all in. Couple of things is if you're at least 10% disabled, you're exempt from that funding fee. And also, if you're an active duty service member who has received a Purple Heart, you're exempt from that funding fee. And that's something new that came out with the Blue Water Navy Vietnam Veterans Act of 2019.
Okay.
So funding fees are there, but it's not something you have to come out of your pocket, like David said.
Okay, so lots of changes coming in 2020. One of the biggest things that I heard that you just said is that Purple Heart recipients are now exempt from paying that VA funding fee that second time around, which is a massive deal. So and let me make this clear to everybody. The first time that you use your VA home loan, you're not paying that VA funding fee. But the second time and every time thereafter, somebody's got to pay it. Somebody's got to come up with it. Or excuse me, there is a VA funding fee, but it's not as expensive as what it is the second time. So strike that, reverse it, bring this conversation back 35 seconds. Okay, and then so the inspection, the VA funding fee. Okay, so let's get into the inspection. Please, 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 please. It is not required by law. You do not have to get a home inspection, but my God, you better get one. Okay. Now, if you're buying here in French Valley, a lot of these homes, people don't realize 2020, all of these homes that were built in 2000 are now 20 years old. There are homes that have roofing issues. There are homes that have, it takes one slip or cracked tile and then a good rain. And then next thing you know, you've got a house with an indoor waterfall that you hadn't planned on. So get a home inspection. If you're out here in the Inland Empire, I strongly recommend Kelly Guerrera with Eagle Eye Home Inspections. She is very thorough. She gets you a same-day report, color-coded, that lets you know what you need to do and what you don't need to do, and what is going to be required in order to get your house to pass VA. Because there's a lot of very interesting things. There's a lot of terrible, terrible things out there. People telling you, oh, that won't go VA. That won't go VA. Now, I recently helped a client of mine, Rudy Gonzalez over there with CERT Ministries, former Marine Force Recon guy, buy a 20-acre compound with 4 structures on it, VA, and yes, it appraised, and no, we didn't have to have any work done. So there's a lot of things that people will assume that you have to get done, VA. You'll see dual pane windows with one pane cracked. Not an issue. So there's all sorts of ways around that. But what I would like to do before we give some credit to our first nasty civilian to comment here on the VA Home Show, Lauren Klein. Good morning, my friend. She says, "Hi guys, civilian spy here. Spies are welcome. Don't tell too much of the all of your friends out there that are not veterans that this show is out there and that it's wonderful." Because we can't have too many spies watching. Next thing you know, it will be like the military relocation program, and there won't be any veterans in the room. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and recap here. But before I recap on all of the costs that you need to spend and the ones that are actually your cost, I'd like to just say, if you need to buy or sell real estate anywhere in the country, feel free to reach out to us. And what we're going to do is we're going to set you up with a great real estate agent that's going to get to work for you, a great lender that's going to get to work for you, no matter where you live, anywhere in the country. Because the number one problem that we have is that we work with these discount agents and then we have a bad experience. I'm here to tell you that not all discounts are good discounts, veterans. Not all discounts are good discounts, and you're not paying it anyway. The seller is actually paying for a buyer to bring them an agent. Okay, here's the recap.
Okay.
All right. The earnest money deposit, $500 to $2,000. You're going to want to have that in your pocket. That's the money that you stand to lose should something go wrong, but you're going to get that money back. That's, it's almost 100% guaranteed because of the VA FHA mandatory clause. Zero down is zero down. The VA jumbo is no more. If you qualify for more, you qualify for more. Somebody's going to need to pay termite. That should be a seller cost. It should not be yours. Closing costs are about 2% to 2.5%, depending on your situation. Someone is going to need to pay it. It's either going to be seller paid, lender paid, or writing the closing costs. Or maybe you're a veteran with some jingle in your pocket, which doesn't happen a lot. And if you are, then you can pay your own. But don't worry about it. You don't have to pay your own closing cost. The VA funding fee. Purple Heart recipients, going forward, January 1, 2020, you will not have to pay that VA funding fee for the second time. For those of you that have a 10% or more disability rating, Again,
It's not
same
at
thing.
all. Yeah.
Not at all.
No.
For the rest of us that are just using the VA loan program as it is, as a great program, the VA funding fee is going up a little bit, but this is something that is mortgaged over the course of your loan. Going to cost you about $50 a month, probably.
Yep.
Give or take.
Yep.
Now, the next thing is going to be the inspection. This is an out-of-pocket expense. So the inspection and the appraisal are your only two, without a doubt, out-of-pocket expenses. You're going to have to take care of both of those things. The inspection is going to be about $250 to $300. Then the appraisal, if you're working with a great lender like Miss Toby Love, she's going to pay for that appraisal out of pocket and not charge you. If you're not, you might end up eating $450 out of your earnest money deposit should you fall out of escrow. Okay. And that's it. Did I miss anything?
No.
Any questions?
I think that if our fellow veterans out there, active duty, if they watch this show, they're going to have a full rundown on exactly what it costs. I know
so total, the earnest money deposit, the home inspection, and the appraisal.
It may be not even the appraisal.
And not even the, so again, if you're working with a lender that is paying your appraisal out of pocket, you don't have to worry about the appraisal. But if you do not talk, so that's a good question to ask your lender. If you're not working with Toby Love, if you're not working with Cross Country Mortgage, are you paying my appraisal? If they say no, you might want to make a couple more phone calls. That phone call might be more important than, hey, what is the rate? What's your rate? How much are you going to charge me? Because a lot of times, those people who are going out around rate shopping, they don't end up getting the best deal in the end. You need that deal to close.
Can I add one little thing to that?
Please do.
So, and only because I've experienced this, the past, and especially with our fellow veterans, sometimes what somebody tells you over the phone is not what you get in writing. Totally different things. I've had 2 instances in the past 30 days, specifically with veterans, where the veteran called me up and go, oh, well, they're giving me this interest rate, and they said no points, no closing cost. And I said, well, that is a really awesome deal if it is true. I said, did you get it in writing? Oh yeah, they emailed it to me.
Yeah.
Did you look at it? Oh yeah. Can you send it to me? Sure. They send it to me. Very first thing I see, points, cost. So just because they tell you something on the phone does not mean that it really truly is. You've got to be very careful about that.
So there are some people out there that in the lending world, in the real estate world, there are real estate agents that are writing additional commission into their contracts, saying that they get paid 3.5% regardless, and then charging the buyer on their side. So guys, you really have to do your due diligence, or contact us and we will do your due diligence for you. Not everybody is out there to serve you just because you have served. There are a lot of people out there downright trying to prey on you. And then there are people that work for them that aren't trying to prey on you, but they may not know any better. They don't know that they're passing on points to you. They don't know that you could get a better deal somewhere else. Some of these people that are new to a table, they just don't necessarily know their way around the industry. And of course, you've been working in this industry for 18 years. Okay.
Almost 19.
I've been in this industry for 6 years now. I've closed over 400 deals. Work with somebody who's going to know what's going on, so it does not cost you and your family a great deal of money in the years to come. There's nothing that will cost you more than being poorly represented. Okay. So this is the VA Home Show. This is the realest show in real estate. We can't make this show for spies only. It has to be for you veterans. Otherwise, people are going to get too offended all the time, because we're going to call it exactly the way that it is. You do not need to be a part of a bureaucracy in order to do good things for veterans. Sometimes you just have to honor your design, do exactly what you are doing, and let everything else work its way out. We're partnering great military veterans and active duty with fantastic realtors all throughout the country. Feel free to give us a call if you need to buy or sell real estate anywhere in the country. And let's see, Jeff Hansen has given us fees with using your VA loan the second time. I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about there, but we'll figure it out, and I'm sure he'll post it in the comments. So if you guys need to buy or sell real estate anywhere in the country, feel free to reach out to your friendly neighborhood machine gunner. We'll lay down cover so that you could find a home. All that good stuff.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right.
Get out there, use that VA loan. Next week, I think we should talk about We should talk about tips and tricks. We talk about things that people are doing to create entrepreneurship for themselves.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Because we've got a whole lot of different things that we could talk about.
Mhm.
We've got people that, that were in our neighborhood that have used their VA loan 4 different times over the course of 20 years.
Mhm.
And now they are landlords. They're retiring from the military with $1.2 to $1.6 million in real estate paid off.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm David Turpa,
Toby Love.
Amy Serpa.
and this is the VA Home Show.
See you next week.
Have a great day. Every Friday at
11:30.
11:30.
Mhm.
Tune in next week and smash that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Everybody have a great day.